Last subject. This one's important. This one is super important. It's like, yeah, Damon, I'm gonna go ahead and become a freelance writer. I'm gonna do this writing on the side. Da, 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 da. But how do I get paid? How do I get my money? I'm glad you asked. Usually, when you do a freelance article, you get paid in one of two different ways. The first way is by project, by completed article. I'm going to pay you $500 for this article, right? The other way is to get paid per word, which sounds bizarre if you're not used to this. So it could be 25 cents a word, it could be 5 cents a word, it could be $3 a word. Now, that doesn't mean that you can do a bunch of run on sentences and just keep going. What it means is that there's a particular structure or framework for that article. Back to the Playboy example. I did a feature for Playboy, and that feature was 1,000 words. But before I earned the right to do that feature, because I did a lot of articles before I got that Playboy feature, I was doing articles that were literally 50 words long. They were little reviews. If you guys are old school Playboy back in the 90s and in the early aughts, you know what I'm talking about, the reviews up front. So it'd be 50 words, 75 words, whatever. What happens when, as far as getting paid though, is that the length might not matter as much when it comes to per word. The length might not matter as much because they're paying so much per word. So when I was writing for Playboy, they would pay between $1 and $2 a word. So it's like, all right, so I'm going to write this 100-word review and I'm going to get $100, $200 word. And I'm a fast writer, really? We became fast friends. Or it could be a publication, maybe a smaller publication or one with a smaller budget, whatever, where they're like, yes, we're going to give you a 5,000-word piece. You're like, great. What is it per word? Oh, well, it's, a penny a word. What's that, $50? So in that quick example, that 5,000-word piece I might work very hard on, or at least it'll take a long time to write. Now I'm a professional writer, so it might take you longer, right? That 5,000-word piece, you're getting paid less than you would for this 50 to 100-word piece that you're getting paid a lot more for per word. So those are things to go ahead and keep an eye out for. If you're not getting paid for the article that you're doing, then I wouldn't actually consider that freelance writing. I would consider that publicity. I would consider that getting some clips. Clips are basically articles, so clips, because you have to clip them out. It's old school. So newspapers or magazines, you literally clip them out. That's why they're called clips. So you're getting your clips up, et cetera, et cetera. That's cool. But know that you're getting into that. I've definitely done some articles for free, but that was because I had a book to promote, or I really believed in that particular organization. I looked at it as nonprofit work. Break it down. Don't justify it after the fact. Just think about it before you get involved. I think it's really important to have that breakdown right there. A related episode. 3 reasons why you shouldn't sign a contract. I share this episode with all my clients. I think literally all of them have gotten, all my coaching clients have gotten it. If you're going to do stuff with your article after the fact, and we'll get into reasons why you want to do that in a moment. If you want to share it with a different website, even if you want to put it on your own website, or you want to do the article for someone else later, you have to look at the contract that you sign. Because depending on the contract, whoever you publish it with, whoever does they call it a first run, whoever does the first run of that article where they publish the article, that might be it. And that is what it is. They own that. It's like they wrote it. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, you need to be strategic about what you're doing with that. Even if you're like myself, where I was a longtime freelance journalist and then I got into books. There were certain articles that I wrote that I could not contractually include in my books later because of the contract I signed. So it's really important. This might be, if you're looking at freelance writing, this might be the most important video and suggestion here when it comes to watching something. The other books are great. So get all the books. But as far as watching something, this is the one. Like that's why my face looks really serious now. Like, don't play with the contract. Make sure you know what you're getting into. Because if you actually own your stuff, you can do something with it. This is The Passive Writer. It was written by myself, as well as with Jeanette Hurt, who had the shout earlier. Hi, Jeanette. This came out, oh my gosh, has to be 5 years now. This came out 5 years ago. And basically, what we're breaking down, all the links are below, by the way, if you want to check it out, because I'm going to take the link off for a second. We came up with this book when we realized there are so many different ways that people were freelance writers creating content, working really hard. Like, it could be a tough profession, working really hard, and then only doing one article based on that. I'll give you a really quick example. Let's say you're doing a 5,000 word piece. For a 5,000 word piece, let's say it's not opinion. Let's say you have to interview people. Maybe you're interviewing. Sorry, my mic's in the way. My book's in the way of the mic. Let's say you're interviewing people, interview like 20 people, which I've done before for shorter articles. But then you only end up using like 3 of the interviews. And then maybe there's another article in there, but that's not the article that's right for that audience. That's not what you're contractually obligated to do. And maybe the piece ends up being 15,000 words, but you only use 5,000 for the actual piece. If you have the right contract, you can actually do other things with it. And passive income, I have lots of videos on it. You can click the links below. Passive income is your way of creating something once and getting paid multiple times. The books I create, even some of the articles I create, even the stuff with this show, that's bringing in types of passive income so that when I'm hanging out with my kids or my wife, or I'm on the road, or even when I'm sleeping, which hence the subtitle, even when I'm sleeping, that money's still coming in. That is such a key part of it. We break it down and give all that kind of insight, hopefully, when it comes to passive income. So be sure and check it out. It's been well received within the writer community. So thank y'all for all the support. I think it just had a 5-year anniversary. I can't believe it's that old already, but it's still extremely relevant, maybe even more relevant now because, a lot of us are hustling, trying to figure out what we're going to do next. Another Q&A that I did, another live stream, about a year and a half ago, become a well-paid writer. This gives a lot more gems and even goes deeper on some of the stuff that we discussed today. Be sure and check it out if you want more insight. And I have a couple bonus content things here too. This one came out relatively recently, A Beginner's Guide to Making Freelance Money. I think we're going to have an episode in the very near future that updates this as far as going deep into making money as a freelancer. Right now, we talked about pitching today, but we'll go a little bit deeper into financially what goes into it. And it gets more into the contracts, but also as far as having longevity in the game. Myself, my co-author Jeanette, and even other folks, such as Jennifer Lawler, we've been in the game for a long time. There's reasons for that. And so I'm happy to go ahead and share as much as that I can as far as getting paid as a freelancer and going from there. This is an excellent start, though. And this is about 25, maybe 30 minutes long. It is worth your time if you're even waddling into the freelance market. My last suggestion, make infinite freelance money. It is not hyperbole. It is actually true. I talk about this 3-bucket system that allows you to continue to make a living as a freelancer and not have too much feast and not have too much famine. It's only 4 minutes long. Highly recommend this video as well. As you get into the writing game, though, I'm not going to lie. It's the contract. It's the contract one. You got to get your contracts right. Otherwise, you might be hobbling yourself later and not even realize it. And there's certain decisions that I made really early on that I would have made different decisions. Of course, hindsight 2020. But I'm here as a ghost of Christmas future to say, get your contracts right, and then it might be fruitful later on. Everything below are referrals. So some of them actually have bonuses that come with it. Other ones just give you an inside track on things. So be sure and check them out. But, that also helps out the channel. So thank you so much for the support on that. And I'm really excited to connect with y'all on Sunday. Get my link right. on Sunday, where will be a live official audio from the ASJ conference this past summer. Thank y'all for letting me rock with it, not only for having me speak there, but also allowing me to share the audio from the keynote with my viewers. If you guys go ahead and click on that, you can hit the subscribe button. You also hit notifications. There'll be a little buzz when the keynote goes live. It'll be 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Vegas time this Sunday. So if you're hanging out, if there's a break during a football game, if you're chilling out with whatever, having a drink in hand, you can enjoy the keynote. It's audio only, so it also works on the road, or if you're walking around, whatever. If you want to have me physically doing the keynote and you want to see the whole thing, the link is in there as well. And ASJ is offering that at a good price. All right. I will be back on Monday with more lives, Monday through Friday, all through this month of September. In the meantime, be sure and check us out on Sunday for the keynote. And this is every Wednesday and Sunday. And you subscribe for free below. Remember to take care of yourselves and others, that you can always bring your worth, and you can always build from now. Take care.